Before we start, why do you think it is so important to have a common RBM terminology? Why can't everybody involved in RBM use his or her own terms? Take a moment to think about this. Done? Let's continue. Getting started. Welcome to this module on results-based management concepts and terminology. RBM terminology used by UNICEF is also used by other UN agencies, multilateral and bilateral development organizations and governments. It is used in UN development assistance frameworks, UNDAFs, and other planning instruments. Having a common RBM terminology strengthens communication between all organizations. On completion of this module, you will be able to answer the following 5 questions. What are the key RBM concepts and terminology used by the UN and other organizations? What are the 3 results levels and how do they differ? What is a results chain and what is a theory of change? What is the difference between attribution and contribution in the achievement of results? What are the essential elements of an indicator? Throughout this and future modules, explanations and examples will be given through the media of a case study, which takes place in the fictional country of Tasmania. Results. A result is a describable and measurable change deriving from a cause and effect relationship. Results are changes that derive from a cause and effect relationship. Results-based management defines 3 levels of results: outputs, outcomes, and impact. Outputs are changes in skills or capacities. Outcomes are changes in products, skills, capacities, abilities, and services. Impact results are sustainable changes in people's lives. Click on a type of result to view an example of each. Impact, outcomes, and outputs are all levels of results within RBM. Do you have a sense of the cause and effect relationship between these levels of results? See if you can identify the order in which these results occur in the change process. Drag and drop the 3 levels of results into their correct order. Let's apply this in a practical example. Match each of the results statements with the appropriate results level. Let's take a look at 3 examples to illustrate the difference between outputs and outcomes. Here is the first one. Take a look at both statements. Note how they differ. Here is another example. Take a look at both statements. Note how they differ. Here is the last one. Take a look at both statements. Note how they differ. The results chain. In RBM, results and actions needed to achieve them are linked together into what is commonly referred to as a results chain. Results chains describe a program over time, from planning through results. Think about a results chain this way. Each stage answers a question regarding UNICEF's work. Click on the question mark on each stage to learn more. Inputs are financial, human, material, technological, and information resources. Activities are what you do with those inputs, how you combine them. Typically, the achievement of any output involves many activities. Click on each illustration to view examples of inputs and activities. Examples: cash to purchase training supplies, a technical expert in child-friendly schools, cash to pay the expert, transport, existing training curriculum, UNICEF staff technical assistance. Examples: procurement of training supplies, training of teachers on child-friendly schools, development of child-friendly schools training guide. Let's apply the results chain to a scenario. Megaland, a neighbouring country of Tasmania, is a low-capacity and low-income country. The UNICEF country office is supporting the government of Megaland to reduce risk from natural disaster and increase resilience among the local population. Click on each exclamation mark to view an example of each element of the programme in the results chain. A theory of change, TOC, is a narrative describing the underlying logic of a results chain. That is, why and how the achievement of one level of results contributes to the achievement of the next level of results. It also specifies the risks and assumptions that could hinder or facilitate the intended changes. Let's look at a simplified example of how the theory of change would come to play in the following case study about the fictional country Tasmania. Based on the situation analysis, we assume that if our activities allow us to achieve the output of increased numbers of trained teachers and improved accountability towards communities, this will in turn contribute to the outcome of a decreased teacher absenteeism and improved teaching practices, which will contribute to the impact of improved learning outcomes for children. Results chains can be very complex. The achievement of outcomes and impacts requires the contribution of many actors. In this example, we illustrate how UNICEF's contribution focuses mostly on output number 1, with the assumption that other actors will achieve other outputs necessary to the achievement of outcomes and impact. Check or uncheck the boxes below the actors icon to see how each of them contributes to the achievement of results in this example. Organizations can contribute to or be given attribution for results. Attribution is a result that can be directly associated to the work of UNICEF. Contribution is a result that is associated to the work of UNICEF and other organizations or governments, as well as external actors such as the private sector. In general, the higher the result, the smaller the contribution of one organization. Indicators. Indicators are units of measurement used for assessing and measuring progress achieved against planned results. Now it's your turn. Identify whether each indicator is qualitative or quantitative. Drag each note to the appropriate field. For each indicator, it is essential to have a baseline, a target, and a means of verification. Mouse the cursor over each element of indicator to learn more. See if you understand each essential element of an indicator by dragging the examples to the correct definition. RBM identifies levels of results and how the cause and effect relationship of results are organized. It distinguishes between change and action language, contribution and attribution, and uses indicators to measure progress towards a result. Understanding RBM concepts and terminology will allow you to better collaborate with other UN agencies, development organizations, and governments. At this point, you should now be able to define common concepts and RBM terminology used by the UN and other organizations. Explain the 3 result levels at the core of RBM: impact, outcome, and output. Describe the concept of the results chain and the underlying theory of change. Explain the different types and essential elements of an indicator.